Good morning everyone, it is currently Wednesday at 9 AM and I'm up an hour earlier than normal to feed the minis because I've got things to do today. Monday you've seen already, Tuesday was my rest day, so I just do the minis, go to bed for a day and rest because doing the horses really works me out, so I do need to take rest days every now and then and just do nothing. So we are Wednesday today, and Wednesday is usually water treadmill day for Dave, but we had to cancel late last night because my vet booked an x-ray appointment for him very suddenly this morning. That's why I'm up early, so I gotta get going. So I'm going to take you along with me for that today, and the minis are going to their field first, so I got to drop them there. Then we're going to go on to Dave for the x-rays, and then finally to lunch at Zara. So I'll see you soon. After I've done my normal morning routine, which you've seen in the last video, so I will not do it again today in any of the other videos because it gets boring, I load up the minis onto the horse box and I take them to their own private field. Now, I've had this field for a while now, probably the whole summer and until now, and it belongs to a local lady who has kindly allowed me to rent it privately just for the minis, and they absolutely love it there. It is their favourite place, and I take them 4 times a week there and back whilst I do Dave. And luckily it is literally down the road from my house and then down the road from Dave, so it works perfectly as a midpoint between the two. And I take them on my own, and this is a fine art to unload and load 2 miniature horses on your own without any help or tying them up because they travel loose. And they hate stagnant water, there's always a puddle there, so they always make my life very difficult coming off the ramp because they just crash into each other trying to avoid the stagnant water. This is their little field. There's about 2.5 acres in the whole place, but they get a little corner of it which is goat fencing on it, so it's absolutely completely safe for them because I always worry about them getting out of fencing. So once they're in their field, I put a little bowl of water down for them. They rarely drink it, but they will not drink out of any of the troughs that are on site because they are fussy, so I have to bring fresh water for them every single time I take them. As you can see, they absolutely love this field and they think it's the best thing on earth, and they know when I'm going to take them. Once they're all settled, I get back in the box and I make the quick 5-minute drive over to Dave's yard. Now, Dave is sedated in this clip, and I don't have a lot of footage because I actually had the vet this day. Now, at this point, we were going through a lot of diagnostics for Dave. We actually had no idea what was wrong with him right now. He just felt off in his ridden work, and Dave is a really honest, sweet horse. And I just know when something's not quite right with him. Even though he looked fine to other people, I just knew he wasn't 100% and he wasn't working as well as he can do. So I had some diagnostics done, and this day we had x-rays on his back and his hocks, and he is completely clear. Everything is fine, but because he is showing signs of a very, very sore back when you run your hand down it, we decided to give him a steroid injection this day in his back just to see if it helped. So that was what was going on here, and I was just waiting with him for the sedation to wear off so I could then walk him back to his stable. After I finish with Dave, I walk over to Zara's yard, which is again across the road, and here is the pretty girl herself being very impatient. So first thing I do with her is I bring her in from the field and tie her up on the yard, and I get to work giving her a quick groom. Being a warm blood, she doesn't grow a huge coat, so she actually looks pretty good for a horse that has basically just been in a field and not done anything for most of the last 2 years. She is a little feral at times to handle. I have to say, you have to be cautious with her. She is not like Dave, who I can do absolutely anything with. You can crawl under him, you could do anything. He's an angel. She is a super sweet horse and very friendly, but being a horse that has not been in worked or handled for quite a few years, you do have to treat her like a new horse. As you can see, she gets a little impatient when I do her boots and things like that, but this is like 100 times better than the very first day I worked with her. And that did not go down well with her when I brought the bridle out. After I've put her boots on, I get her bridle out and make sure she is tied up, because she's really good at untying herself, and I've learnt that lesson. You do not want her untied when you have a bridle near her. Now you'll see what I do is I actually put the bridle over her head collar, and that is a safety reason. I have nowhere enclosed to tack her up, and as I said before, she can be a little feral with these things, and this is 10 times better than she was. She literally wouldn't let the bridle near her. She had a panic attack the first time I did it. So what I do is I just slowly bring it up to her, hold it on her nose till I feel her relax, and then we slowly ask to get the bit in. Still takes a little bit of work, not amazing, but this is so much better and calmer than she was, and having her tied up just makes it so much easier. If she does go a bit feral, I can grab her, it's all fine. And I do take the bridle off from underneath, but it cut off my camera, so that does come off once I'm done. Then I take her to the menage, and because this is only her second time being lunged since coming back into work, we do 5 minutes on each rein of just walk-trot transitions. Mostly walk, a little bit of trot in between, and she's doing super well. She's actually quite lazy for a horse that has not been in work for 2 years, which is kind of impressive. So she's been super nice to work with. She's very clearly been really well trained at some point in her life, and I do know she has been. She's just been out of work for some time. But yeah, she's a really sweet girl, beautiful mover, lovely to deal with. And after that, I just turn her out in her field. And of course, I can't resist staring at their miniature Shetland, Rocky. He's a little stallion and he is so gorgeous. So I've just finished both Dave and Zara, and now I am going to be driving back to the minis field to pick them up before we go home. And it's only a 5-minute drive from Dave's yard, so it's all very easy, which is why we actually did this in the first place, because I can drop them off on the way to Dave, go sort him out, and then come pick them up on the way home, and they get some more grazing time without getting fat because they're not on it 24/7. So I will see you in a minute. And of course I do the same thing that I do earlier. I park in my little space, I open my lorry up, and I go get the devil children. Now lucky these two are very, very well trained, so they load very easily, and it's just like going up a tiny ramp for them. And then I close my horse box behind them to undo their lead ropes, because I still travel them loose. It's just easier that way. I don't have to have a load of partitions in there to deal with, and it's just, yeah, they're happier to be in there like a stable rather than being tied up because they're still babies. make sure to lock up the gate so no one can get in to my field, and then I collect anything that's mine, like the water bucket I left before, put that into the back of the horse box, and then I hop on in ready to go home. Now, I don't think you've seen me take them both from the horse box at home in how I get them into their field all by myself. So my mum's recording, she usually helps at this point, but I can do it myself because they are ridiculously well trained, these two. Sometimes I look at them and I think these horses have been doing this since they were foals, weanlings, and I couldn't even imagine Dave ever attempting anything like this ever. He barely gets in my own horse box, yet alone up a ramp like this. It's kind of insane what they do. And that's it, they're all now back in their field and ready to go to bed, and that is the end of my day.